But she
Man.
she says that stuff to me all the time. And I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to
Yeah.
laugh at that.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Outrage Factory episode 272. We have a special treat for you. We have a guest, David. Oh, I was going to look up your last name, but I didn't. Yeah,
Well
so
done, Dale. Well done.
well, just landed so flat.
We're off to a rip roaring start as usual. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay, it's Beckemeyer.
Beckmeyer, yeah.
Beckemeyer. Okay,
Yeah,
I just threw in an extra enunciation on that either.
Yeah. It's
So,
pretty
yeah.
obvious that people often do that. So yeah, I don't know why we don't pronounce it. Why is the E even there if you're not going to pronounce it, right?
Hey man,
Exactly.
you've seen my last name. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we all have very long syllables in our names. Yeah, you were doing a outrage on the mic special July. I keep wanting to say June because I'm not ready to move on.
You're not
yet.
ready for July yet?
No.
I'm not ready for July.
To me, it means like summer's halfway over, and I'm like, I'm not ready to admit that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Feels
so
like it
you're
hasn't
doing
even started.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
you're doing a outrage on the mic where you're doing was it 3 episode or 4 episode series over at Outrage Overload, and you had us. You were kind enough to host us on your first episode of the
Yeah.
series.
Yeah, it was fun. That was fun. I mean, my listeners, it's going to be different than what my listeners are used to. So hopefully they'll like it.
Yeah,
We've often been described as different from what people are used to.
Yeah.
Just in general,
we are not a smart podcast, to say the least. Which a lot of your guests are scientists and doctors and therapists and stuff, which is it's quite refreshing to like talk about outrage from that respect and not just us making dick jokes. So
Yeah, something a little different, as you might say, for sure.
but since you're on our turf now,
Yeah,
I hope
right.
you brushed up on your dick jokes.
dial down your smart just a little and
Mhm.
dial up the ridiculous.
Yeah. And sorry you have to come be a part of our Sailor Mouth podcast if that offends you.
Yarr. Oh no, it won't be that bad. I'm gonna try to keep the swearing to a minimum tonight. I've been like trying to do this in my personal life, so we'll see if I can
Oh,
do
yeah.
this here. Yeah.
Yeah, my
I think I told that
daughter.
story. My brother was
Oh, yeah.
like trying to stop swearing for a little
Mhm.
while, and he did this whole thing where he's like, I'm gonna stop the swearing. My kids are young. I want to try to make sure I'm like setting a good example. And then he hit his toe as he was like telling me this story. He hit his toe, and he's like, this is fucking bull stuff. I'm like, okay, you got
Bull
1 out
stuff.
of 2, not bad.
Yeah, 1 out of 2.
Tried really hard.
Yeah.
Stubbed his toe on the way out. I'm like, yeah, not bad, man, not bad, not bad.
Well, so it's been a long. We have some nieces and nephews and stuff, or grandnieces and nephews and stuff that are pretty young, but not too many. We don't see them that often. So it's been a while since we've like had to tune that back, right? So
Mhm.
it's going to be we have a grandbaby coming in a couple of weeks, so
Right.
it's
Oh,
going to be a whole new
congratulations.
world. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's going to be a whole new world now. It's like, oh
Yep.
yeah, I remember. But now I'm grandpa, so maybe it's okay.
Yeah. Grandpa's got a dirty mouth.
Yeah, our son's 15, and like I couldn't imagine if I had a baby in here again. Like I'd have to like re-soften all of the corners in the house.
Yeah.
Right.
Like just like go
Right.
around and put tape on stuff and like make sure there's baby gates up. It's totally different, right?
It's kind of nice having soft cornered stuff because I usually hit
Yeah.
myself on all this stuff, but since everything's still kind of baby proofed, I'll like catch my hip on a like table and be like, oh,
Yeah.
that's nice. That didn't
He-
hurt excruciatingly bad.
Dale's been wandering around the house like a toddler since like
Just dirty, dirty, dirty.
1999, so it's
Just
not any
tired
different.
all the time. Yeah.
I want dinner.
It's accurate. That was accurate. It was
Do you have a
like-
camera in here, David?
Yeah, well done, David. That was perfect. It was spot on.
It sounds exactly like me. So I sent you a list of the subjects, and usually what happens is I send the guests like a list of like 5 to 10 things, and then we talk about maybe 2 of them. So
Yeah.
I asked you if there were ones that you wanted to talk about specifically, and then you said there was one where that you knew that area. You said Red Canyon or something. Is that what you said?
Yeah, so the 2 that I think we could see if we can get to is the Diddy one, of course.
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
I think we're gonna have to talk about that today.
Yeah.
And then the other one was the story of it was in Redlands, California. So yeah, it's the story of the guy murdered his neighbor over a hot dog.
Oh
right?
yeah, okay. The nudist colony. I was hoping it was that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
start with that. Like, start with hot dogs and dicks. It's a little on the nose.
It's a little on the nose.
Yeah.
Yes.
The nudist colony gets murdered for a hot dog, but it was an actual hot dog. In case everybody's wondering if it's like a headline innuendo. And the guy who was like accused or charged, I don't know if he's been like charged and like if we have to keep saying allegedly still, but the guy who murdered the guy.
Oh no, he was charged. He was charged with 2 counts
yeah.
of murder with special circumstances in the death of Stephanie Menard and her husband Daniel Menard. Okay, carry on.
And he said
I don't know. Did he plead guilty to it too? I'm not sure. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
I didn't even know it was like to trial yet.
He did it. He was like, I did it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he said that the reason he did it was because the guy gave him a hot dog, and it was like a social commentary, I guess. Like he thinks I'm worth less than $1, and I was like, man, if somebody gave me a hot dog, I'd be like, bro, thanks for the hot dog.
Hot dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought we were beefing because we're neighbors, and now you gave me a hot dog, so beef squashed.
Well, I had to talk about this a little bit because like everything about it just tracks and keeps adding up, right? And I know you talked about like, potty mouth and all that here. I am gonna, you're gonna have probably people from this area that be mad at me, they're probably mad at you. But like this area where this is kind of San Bernardino, which if you know Southern California, like it has a reputation of being kind of white trashy and maybe kind of some meth out there.
Yeah, a little bit of meth.
A little bit of meth. And that was the only thing missing from this story, that I kind of say, well, maybe we don't have the full story because that wasn't in there because it has everything else, right? I mean, it's Redlands. It's a trailer. It's a RV park. It's a nudist RV park. And the murder weapons were like garden implements. So I mean, it has everything. It's like everything, every stereotype you could imagine I mean that area of the world, San Bernardino, right? And Redlands specifically. Like if you've ever been out there, it's baking hot. By the way, first of all. And it's dry and hot and yeah, but so it has everything going for it. Like you couldn't write the Onion couldn't have written this story, better than the real story, right?
So you're saying like it's so hot they kind of have to have nudist trailer parks there? Like it's like you can only get so naked. You gotta take some clothes off. And turn the
that was
fan
just
on.
to cut down on laundry.
Yeah. It's just gonna sweat through this anyway. I might as well just not wear underwear at this point.
I had a question. So you said it's an RV like park. It's like an RV park or whatever. Is that like actual RVs or like mobile homes? Like
that's a good question. I mean, it looks like they're more like mobile homes in the photos they show.
It does look like mobile homes. I was reading the name of the place, and I love the name of the place because it just makes me so happy. Olive Dell Ranch Nudist Resort.
Perfect, right?
Like it just sounds so classy. It's like that sounds like a nice upscale nudist resort. It's not. It is not.
Ooh, come to Olivedale. Leave your clothes behind.
Yeah. You'll come for the wieners and you'll stay for the wieners.
Yeah. And it's funny because David was saying that it has like almost like all the writings and you'd like expect like just meth to be in there. And it's funny because it's like the beef between these two neighbors started in the most cliched way because they're arguing over a tree that one of them told the other one to trim and they said, I'm not trimming that. And then it's just been years and it ends up in murder.
It's just like it builds. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh at murder. That was terrible.
That's what we're here for.
It just culminates in like just that pent up neighborhood anger, and then you're naked. Throw nuditivity on top of that. You're like, I'm sick of your bush and your tree.
If you don't want us to laugh at your murder, don't get killed in a nudist trailer park
colony.
And
this it says this feud has lasted more than a decade. I don't know how much more, but more than a decade. And it was also interesting the ages of all these participants, right? I mean, the couple was in their 70s and the dude is 60 something. And it's like, really? That's where we're at.
Yeah.
It's a retirement villa with lots of years of pain.
And even in the news report you sent, even the the quote is like 100% like looks like the Onion wrote it, right? It's like some other neighbor says, I didn't think he'd ever be able to do something like this, says Tammy Wilkerson. I mean, that's a made up name, right?
It's got to be, yeah, a nom de plume. Yeah, it's got to be. Let's go with Tammy Wilkerson. What's the least meth I can sound like? Tammy goes, damn it, so close. It'll have to be.
Yeah, I mean it's got everything. It's got it all. And then picture of the dog too. Like, did you see the picture of the dog? It's like,
yeah, it's like the dog. This is like a little chihuahua that looks crazy. I don't know. It's not even a chihuahua. I don't know what that thing is.
I think the dog name is Cuddles. This dog doesn't cuddle with anybody.
that dog does not cuddle. That is not a cuddly puppy. Yeah. Like,
nobody
can I pet your dog? Actually, never mind. I'm good. It's cool. That dog walks around with a bunch of naked people. No wonder it looks like that. It's just like, I've seen some stuff I don't want to see.
Yeah, it's just shell shocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dog's definitely seen some stuff.
It's definitely seen some things happen. The dog's seen some things.
Like you say, we don't want to make fun of people that were killed here, but yeah.
No,
I want to make fun of people who are killed.
Well,
it's still a crazy story.
It's a crazy story. It's like it's as Florida as you could get on the West Coast.
Yeah, it is.
Totally.
That's it.
Right?
That's what San Bernardino is. It's the Florida.
It's West Coast Florida. Oh my God.
It's like where you move when you're sick of the alligators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The dry. I remember like a couple of years ago, we rode our motorcycles kind of through that area and it was so hot. I just remember it being so incredibly hot. So I could see how, like, I don't know if it's hot all year round. I assume they have some sort of winter where it's a little bit milder, but maybe they put some pants on. I'm not really sure, but
I mean, it's sunny,
hot enough to get naked and murder someone.
Yeah,
it definitely is. 100% is. Yeah.
Dude, we stopped at like those like icy slushes. They they only come in blue and red flavors in the US. Not super familiar with them. We stopped the place and the machine was broken because it was too hot. So it was just turning. It was like 38 degrees Celsius and it was like melting.
Couldn't make ice.
Yeah, it was like it couldn't keep the ice going in the machine, so it was just syrup. And I'm like, I'm so hot. I just want to pour this liquid down my pants.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you talk about it. It must not be as hot. Well, the days are shorter, so there's that. But it's still
hot,
pretty warm, like 360 days of the year. It's pretty warm.
Yeah. It's really interior, right? Like it's interior California. Like it's Southern California, but just barely, kind of thing.
Right, because the ocean is south, the ocean is west.
Yeah,
but it's not near the ocean.
Yeah, it's not near the ocean, so there's nothing to like modify the humidity or keep it like just dry.
And Redlands is kind of at a base of a mountain range, so it's even gets worse up there, right? So
oh man,
it's hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
And if it was only hot, like that'd be one thing, but no, there's all the other stuff that goes.
Yeah, you throw meth in there and like trailer parks and nudity, and you got it. It's a powder keg, really.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that guy. I'm gonna be 60 soon. That's terrible. Just I'm gonna have to move into a nudist trailer park. It's my birthday on Monday. I'm gonna be 49. So
happy almost birthday.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'd say I'm just trying to get worried about the aging process.
You're like a week two, or like my brother's was on the 16th. You guys are the same age.
Oh no way. Right on. Cool.
Well, and I figure, doesn't it, like they keep saying like 50s to do 40 and then 60s to do 50 or something? I don't know.
Tell that to my back when I sneeze.
Yeah.
Oh God, I can't go to work.
Yeah, and I coach a seniors boxing class, right? So
no way.
All these seniors that are, pretty. I mean, you could be 50 and take my class, but most everybody's 60 and 70 plus.
Yeah, a little bit older. That's really cool.
Older than that. So, yeah, they're trying to move. They're trying to get out there and move around.
Oh, I can't even imagine how much it'd hurt to get punched when you're 70. Or do you guys is it just like
it is mostly a boxing workout?
Yeah, like a training thing.
Yeah, we hit the heavy bag. We do some like light sparring drills.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
And then we do regular like a workout. We also do just plain core work and that kind of stuff too, right? Which is, nobody wants to do that, but it's like you want to do the other, you kind of got to do the core.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everything else sort of comes from that motion, right? It's all coming from the base. Yeah,
especially boxing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, whenever anybody says 40's the new 30, I was like, I don't want to do that much energetic stuff in my 40s.
I don't think I did much energetic stuff in my 30s, really. I mean, it's been like almost a decade since I last played hockey or fought anybody for that regard.
That's true.
But yeah. I try not to. I try to keep that. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to move to a trailer park anytime soon or kill my neighbor over plants. I don't think that's a thing.
There's
Well,
still time. You got like 10 years,
I got
15
10
years.
years. Well, thanks, Dale. 10 years.
this is you. This is you in 10 years in the
Oh
trailer
my
park.
God.
There's a lot of time for life to catch up, and you end up in a trailer park in a nudist colony in Red,
in
Yes.
California.
yeah,
I guess
Redlands.
life
Or
comes at you
Redlands, yeah,
fast.
Redlands.
So I'm not gonna say that's not gonna happen. I'm just gonna say there are
Yeah,
things in place that hopefully they can delay that from happening for a little while.
that'll be close to the bottom of the barrel for your life events.
Oh man. Hey, speaking of bottom of the barrel, do you want to transition to this Diddy story? Can
Yeah,
you
that's
oh my
crazy.
God.
So, the rundown,
How
I
do we
guess.
even yeah, you want to give the rundown? It's like I don't even know how to talk about this.
Okay,
So
I'm assuming everybody has like a working knowledge of what was happening. So I'll just give you like the gist of it was
sure.
singer, songwriter, producer, mogul Sean Diddy Combs was charged with 5 different counts by the feds. This wasn't even like he had about a bunch of civil charges in the past where he settled out of court with I can't remember that chick's name for some reason. It just left my mind. Um, but the main one that everybody knows about, the one he beat up in the hotel, they'd already settled for like 15 million out of court. But this was the government was trying to charge him with like racketeering. He had 5 charges altogether. I'm sorry, I'm just pulled up the thing and I'm trying to find
Yeah, wasn't like of the 5 charges, like 4 of them were dismissed and one of them
3
was
of them
like
were
3 of them were
dismissed,
dismissed. Okay.
but
Yeah.
but 2 of them were the same thing. He actually ended up only getting charged with transportation to do prostitution. So he was like getting male prostitutes and flying them over state lines to have sex with his wife. What was it? Yeah, I can't remember her name. Sorry, I'm just like skimming and talking at the same time, and you could gather how
Skim
good I am
talking.
at that.
Right. There were sort of two main witnesses, right? And
Yeah,
the one, like you say, the one that everybody knows from the video.
Cassie, that's her name.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
other one I think was a Jane Doe. Like we don't know what
They
her name
didn't come.
is.
Yeah, it was like they kept the name off the
Yeah, her
record or
name
whatever
was
it was.
Jane, and she was who he was currently dating before this all started, and that wasn't her real name.
Right.
Right.
But I mean, if you looked and saw who he was dating,
You can
and
probably
then
figure
there
it
was
out.
some
Probably
other
figure it out.
stuff like Kid Cudi did he testify? They had a whole bunch of people testifying, but the main 2 were the girls, and they were like, it was weird because he was getting charged with racketeering, sex
And
trafficking.
yeah.
Oh, 2 counts of trafficking, and then 2 counts of prostitution with transportation. So he got off on racketeering and he got off on sex trafficking.
Right.
You know,
So
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, David, please.
Well, I was going to say my wife has sort of been the one, we do that other show we talked about
Yeah.
This Week in Outrage on Sunday nights. And so she's sort of been doing like weekly updates since this whole thing started. And so
Yeah.
she's kind of my source. Like she seems to know all the sort of insider stuff and what's going on. So I wasn't following it that closely. But then when I saw that the trial had ended, or at least the jury had gone out to deliberate, I did look it up and I sort of read about the prosecution's side of that case. And I was actually kind of surprised. Like I was surprised it was as weak as it was on those charges, specifically the sex trafficking and the racketeering. It seemed kind of concocted, and especially compared to how they presented this in the beginning. Like they just hyped this up like this was going to be like you won't believe
like a
all
slam dunk, right?
There's going to be like 50 women involved in this, and it's going to be a sex traffic ring all over and going around the world and all this stuff. It's going to be all of Hollywood, and it was hyped up so much, and and especially when the judge refused him bail and everything. Well, the judge has seen something that I guess we haven't seen or whatever, right? So we don't, so probably it's pretty bad, right? But then when I looked at those charges, the prosecution's case, which is all the jury gets to see, you know what I mean? It's like, and of course I wasn't on the jury, so I didn't see it all, but I was not that surprised that he was acquitted on those charges because they didn't seem that strong.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like the conspiracy theory is that this was like a show trial. Like everybody knew Diddy was up to fucking tomfoolery, but like a lot of people were saying that like the company Universal was involved in all the stuff. And so that they did this trial to kind of like be like, give everybody like show him that he went to court and stuff so that they wouldn't have to like go get the Hollywood elites and stuff involved. And because a lot, like I was hearing stuff like there's a lot of people that they didn't even bring up in the charges, and that like there was allegations that Diddy was a Fed, and this was all like kind of like an Epstein ring for rap music and stuff. And the other thing too was like it was as this was leading up, you heard about all these like Diddy parties and all this stuff. And then when the trial happened, you only ever heard about the freak offs, which was Diddy and his wife Cassie, and then he'd hire like a prostitute to have sex with her while he watched. And you're like, yeah, that's like tacky and gross, but it's just like three people in a hotel room.
It's not really illegal, even. I guess the prostitution part's illegal, but like
Yeah.
Or it could also be if it was coercive and stuff. Obviously,
Yeah,
there's if it wasn't consensual and all that. And I think on that case, it's a he said, she said, and the jury just has to kind of pick a side to believe.
Mhm.
And we know how that goes a lot of times, right? Especially when you're big and famous and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right?
And like the thing I learned from this was that the Me Too movement didn't really teach the general public enough about consent. Because
Right.
I was talking to one dude at where I work, and he was saying, well, she said she liked it in the text. And it's like, yeah, but just because you say yes once doesn't mean you say yes every other time. And yeah. And there was actually a time when Diddy was like, he got in a fight with the second one, the one that was called Jane. And right after the fight, he was like, does this count as coercion? And it's like, holy fuck. Like that's some dark shit.
Yeah, he knows he's in on, or he knows he's up to his eyeballs in
Yeah.
something, right?
Yeah.
And then
You don't use language like that without like being sort of partially responsible, right?
Yeah, like you know you're doing bad, but you still like can't help yourself.
So
yeah, and I'm certainly saying everything he did seems pretty bad. Like it wasn't good. I'm
yeah,
not endorsing
totally.
it, but just the way the prosecution's case I thought was not as strong as I was expecting.
So yeah, I wanted to make that clear. Like the three of us, I feel, are like not endorsing anything that he did. Like none of us are like, we're like, oh yeah, he got off. It's clearly a case of this. No, I like I guess my biggest question is like, is this how did this use? David went over how like the case wasn't really that great. Right. But like, why wasn't the case that great?
Right.
Why did they go unarmed to this thing? Is there something going on in the background that we're not seeing? Is there, I'm going to imagine he's got friends. Right. And I don't want to be like, it's hard because I don't want to be jaded. I don't want to be like the system is broken, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to be that guy, but also like the system is clearly broken. So I don't really know. I don't really know where to go with this. I'm upset about the whole thing. Like, why was the trial weak to start with? They should have gone in harder if they had the actual evidence. I feel like we knew a lot going in. Where was all the stuff that we heard about in the trial? But you're right though. I also understand the American justice system through television mostly in our but like you do need to have all these things in place before you can go to trial, and some evidence will be not allowed or
there's all kind of sort of the paperwork, dotted I's, crossed T's thing, and what gets left out and all that. Exactly. I don't know all the details of how much of that happened. And again, as you're hinting at, he's also a powerful dude. So how much kind of, obstruction was going on, that people either refused to testify or were able to get out of testifying, or they felt like they weren't going to be a useful witness. And, I want to know all that backstory, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the juicy bits that we're not hearing, right? Like the good stuff. I know when we saw it kind of on the news, my wife and I were sitting there and she just looked at it and she's like, oh yeah, he's involved with some people. There's no way that there's no way that he would have got away with all of this if he wasn't like, if somebody has something on him or if he has something on someone else. Right.
Like Epstein did,
like Epstein, and like why the files haven't come out because right, like because all the people in power are involved, so they're just going to suppress that forever, like Trump's suppressing it, blah blah blah, whatever. Now I can't cross the border anymore. God.
And the weird thing to me was like it seemed like the prosecution had a strong case going in because they were like offering immunity to like his old security guards who would like set up hush money and all the stuff, so they had gave them immunity just so that they could get them to testify. And then it just kind of like felt like it ran out of steam. Like I wasn't paying too close attention, but I was listening to a couple podcasts and they're talking about the stuff that was being talked about, like, and then like I was like just kind of waiting for them to talk about like what happened to Usher, because he like alluded to like going to Diddy camp when he was like an up and comer and how he wouldn't let his kids go around Diddy. And then all this stuff with like Bieber, like what happened between Puffy and Bieber, because Bieber, I don't know how big of a fan everyone is, but he's not exactly well adjusted anymore. And is P. Diddy to blame for that? And like you'd hear about like how P. Diddy would like essay dudes, like rap dudes and stuff, as sort of like a power game. But it seemed like the kind of the case just boiled down to, like I said before, just the like freak offs or king nights, like they called it, and like whether Cassie and Jane should be allowed to like sue. Like it almost just turned into like Dave said, a he said, she said. But I felt like that wasn't what it was supposed to be going into it. Like it was supposed to be
Right.
this big racketeering, like did he kill Tupac shit, and then it just turned into like, hey, Diddy's a piece of shit, and this girl's kind of crazy, but she didn't deserve what happened to her. And you're like, well, yeah, but that's not why we're here.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and it's like you say that there was. It does feel like there was more there at some point in the early stages
Mhm.
because, like I
Yeah.
say, even the judge's behavior sort of suggests that. Like he saw some stuff that said, you know, this dude should not be let out on bail or whatever, and he still doesn't think he should be let on out on bail. And I don't know what the maximum is for these charges that he did get found for, but
I was
I think this
just
judge is
reading
going to
that.
give him the maximum.
Yeah. So I was just actually just reading on that. I was just checking on that because I was curious myself. The two charges that he's been convicted of carry a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. Uh, but they're expecting the sentencing to be shorter than that.
So could they stack those and make it
They could
20
stack
or
those and make it 20, or it'll more than likely, if his lawyers are good, they're going to make it run concurrently. So he'll do like 3 years and be out in 2 or 1 on good behavior kind of thing.
yeah. I mean, still like his whole reputation is burnt at this point. And
Yeah.
like
I don't know, man. I'm just gonna go like track record on some of the famous people who have
Yeah.
had like minimized sentences. Look at Martha Stewart and her like whole comeback, right? Like,
yeah, but that was just tax stuff. Nobody
And
gives
that
a
was
fuck
that
about
was some
that.
bullshit charges anyway. I'm
I
sorry.
know, and it was, but I'm just saying,
Especially
like,
compared to like our own senators and congressmen who
that's true,
Yeah.
yeah,
scammed
for
us for
sure, for sure,
millions. I think her deal was, I mean, I'm not saying scamming for 40 grand is not a bad thing, but
yeah,
in comparison to the stuff our
yeah, to
own,
what
you
goes
know,
on a regular basis, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
like millions and millions.
I've
Yeah.
been harping on this. I don't know if you watched that Brett Favre documentary on the and like his whole thing about like how he was literally funneling welfare money through a gym to build a gymnasium in a city like in the South. Like that kind of stuff happens on the regular with
Right.
Yeah.
not famous people, like regular town people, and like yeah, and you don't hear about it at all, right? So yeah, same kind
And
of
the
jam.
most fucked up thing about the Brett Favre thing was he had enough money to just
He totally
build
did.
it.
He totally did.
It wouldn't even make a dent, but he's like, and
But
it's like some weird, like, I don't know, must be like say kind of a game power thing where they like feel like they're getting away with something to like take
this
it
is
from
why
where
we
they're not supposed to
this
have
is
it.
why we'll never be rich, Dale, because we don't understand the game, and the game is you don't pay for it, other people pay for it, and you
Right.
just put your name on it,
Yeah, my
right?
problem
That's
is
a
as
very
soon as
simplified
yeah,
look at it, but
my problem is as soon as I have enough money to buy something nice, I buy something nice. I'm like, this is good. I'm good for a bit.
I bought pants today. They were $200, and I
Two
hate
hundred
that.
dollar
Two
pants.
hundred dollar pants today.
That's some nice
Yeah, I'm
pants.
fucked.
You gotta
They're
you
great.
gotta go
They're
on eBay
wonderful
and get
pants.
some pants, buddy.
I
Yeah,
know, and this is what I'm talking about, right? Like I have like cheap pants, and then I have this one pair of pants, and I hope I'm gonna wear this pair of pants forever. But it's gonna be like that thing where I won't wear it because it was too expensive, and
it's
so
so
I'm just like,
funny.
I can't wear this out. I'll wreck them. I'll be like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
the
shit myself, and then
one of the
it's game
running
over for the
yeah,
pants.
Dave, one of the running gags on this podcast is Jeff buys like expensive
But
pants. Like he had like was
I
it
do.
$500
I
ones
have a
or something?
$500 pair of jeans. I'm just like,
Wow.
what the fuck is wrong with me?
And
I
I
just every
buy
once in a while, I'm like, I got money, and then I just burn
yeah,
it. And yeah, I
and
can't
I buy
trust it with
jogging
that.
pants from Costco.
Yeah, yeah. He's like,
Well,
hey, cool jeans. I'm like, thanks. They were like $500. They're from
Yeah,
Japan. They're imported, and they're like super cool. I was just like, he's like, you're an idiot. I'm like, I know.
yeah. Jeff's Hollywood and I'm a trailer park in
I'm not Hollywood.
Redland.
Yeah, I'm not
yeah.
Hollywood. I'm Olive Dell trailer park.
Well,
I was
and
gonna say
talking
that
about
was me with my track pants or my
No.
dress or jogging pants.
talking about like different mindsets about money, you know, I kind of learned that lesson. We used to do marketing for one of the larger companies I worked for, and you know, and we were doing like these real cheap little, they call them Val packs. It's like a little stack
Yeah,
of postcards you mail out. I don't know
yeah.
if you guys
I
have
remember
something like
Valpax. Yeah,
that. And so we would you could do all this testing with those because you could try different zip codes and stuff. And the zip codes that like use those stupid Valpaks, it was like the richest zip codes.
The
Like
richest,
those
like,
people
yeah,
poured
totally,
every
right?
possible. Oh, I can get 67 cents off. I am using this
I'm using
coupon.
this. Yeah, totally, man. Totally. And then people like me are like, no, I'm not gonna. Like, my wife found a shirt in the same store. She's like, oh, it's 30% off. And I took the pants up to the store, to the clerk, and she was like, oh, these pants are not part of the 30% off. So I'm like, fuck, of course they're not, because I never get the 30% off because I'm poor. I'm a poor person that pays all through the nose for everything. My
Right.
wife saw like, this one's 30% off. I'm like, yeah, of course it is. Of course we scam that. I just have to give all this. Here's the trick: give all my money to my wife. Let her buy pants for me. That are $200. I can't do that. Can't relinquish control of my pants purchases. Oh, now I'm all sweaty because I'm thinking about my stupid pants.
All worked up thinking about your pants.
Worked up about pants as usual. Gonna have a pants-based heart attack.
Gotta go to Pants Anonymous.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. Speaking of that, I was downtown in Vancouver today.
Yeah.
And there is this is like not on any of the things that you sent him, just as a random segue about.
And we're here for segues.
So there is the Alcoholics Anonymous international gathering here in Vancouver this weekend. So there's people from everywhere. There's like, it's like an international, like there's people from the US, because I heard a guy that was definitely from Boston in downtown Vancouver today when I was walking by. He's, oh yeah, we got to go over to the thing, pal. I'm like, okay, all right. He's gonna gotta go see the steam clock. So like, yeah, there were hundreds of people by the steam clock today, and I'm like, what is happening? And they all have these name tags on, and the name tags have like their first name and last initial, because that's like a very Alcoholics Anonymous thing to do.
Oh, crazy.
But yeah, that was just, you're like, I got to go to like Pants Anonymous. So I was thinking about the Alcoholics Anonymous thing. And then I remember like looking at the border wait times, and they were insane because people are coming over the border to come to this conference this weekend. So yeah. Anyway, it was wild, like non sequitur that went nowhere, but
the double national holiday long weekend for the border, because it was Canada Day on Tuesday and America Day on Friday.
Yeah.
David, can I ask you an American question? Is that
Sure.
cool? Okay, so do you celebrate?
I speak for everyone. Yeah,
I know you don't represent the same way I don't represent everyone in Canada. I did nothing on Canada Day. I drove home from a lake, and then I did laundry. That was my Canada Day. It was like, congratulations, we separated from England. We're like, so did you do anything for the 4th of July? Like, was it seemed to me that it was a little subdued this year.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little subdued, I think. I think in our case, we were kind of torn on how we're supposed to celebrate this. I wrote about it because I have been getting a lot of feedback from listeners on this topic, and some of it's pretty heavy. Like people are like, like, I'm super depressed and I don't know how to handle the cruelty and this kind of stuff, right? So this is not, I guess, not good for a comedy show.
No, I'm sorry. I totally waded right into this. Yeah.
But so I kind of wrote a little piece about this, sort of saying, like, you do you, like, you aren't obliged to. Plus, these people that then tell you things aren't as bad as you think aren't helping, really.
Right.
They maybe, even if they're right, they're not helping.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's not what anybody wants to hear, or it's not really going to help me in the moment right now. So I kind of wrote a little piece about that, and I kind of also applied that to myself a little bit. So we didn't do a lot this year. When I was a kid, like my grandparents, my extended family, like this was like, they just went, and the funny thing is, like, I don't know how, based on what you guys know so far, you'll either be really surprised by this or not surprised at all. But like, I was with that extended family, I was kind of raised that, we're, I don't know, I'll say kind of lawless in the sense that ethics and our family morals come first, and whatever the law says,
whatever is after. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it comes after, right? Yeah. So that was kind of the way and they lived out in the country, fairly far. The nearest neighbor is like 5 miles away, and so they would go get. And it was all legal. I mean, literally, when I was a little kid, my grandfather could buy in those rural areas. My grandfather could buy TNT at the hardware store,
like straight up TNT. Yeah, totally.
Straight up TNT. Yeah. So, and they didn't use that for 4th of July, but I mean, that it was.
You could buy it. It was there because you had to make a well or something. camping on your
and like
farm
yeah,
or
they had the
whatever.
gun in the corner that was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
always loaded, and there's little kids everywhere. It was like that was just how things
That's
were,
just how
right?
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, but so they would put on a pretty big show, and not the kind like now that are super loud and go real high, but just like those,
Yeah.
household fire, whatever it is, residential fireworks. But he would do a pretty big show, and I will say he did follow safety stuff. We had water buckets and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
sure
Nice.
today it
Yeah.
wouldn't be enough, but we did talk about safety and try not. And I don't think we ever had any serious burns either. But anyway, so it was a pretty big deal when I was a kid, and and we go on and off as to how big of a deal we do there. But this year we went to my mother-in-law's old folks home, which is, if you want to feel, you were saying you're getting worried about getting up there, go to the old folks
Go to
home. You'll be the young one there.
Sick. I'm so look at how hot I am by comparison.
I can walk all the way across the room by myself.
Wait, my hip barely even hurts. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm doing that. I'm going.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that lawless thing. Like I was away in the country. I was in the country for Canada Day, so we were away. It's this place called Otter Lake. It's like kind of in the interior of British Columbia. It's like way up north, and like we got there and we rented a cabin. We're at the cabin. We pulled in. We got everything going. And I was just like, it's like 2 PM, and there's neighbors that are just gooned, like they're out of their tree drunk in the next door, and they're playing cards, and they've got a fire going, but it's like 30 degrees Celsius. It's like it's hot, but they have a fire going, and they're having a great time. And we're like, well, let's go walk down to the lake. And we're walking down the lake, and there's like a golf cart with like a 10-year-old kid driving it, and like 3 other 10-year-old kids hanging off the back of the golf cart. And then like an ATV rips by and a dirt bike, and there's no helmets and flip-flops everywhere. And I'm just like, what is happening here? And it was like, it reminded me of being a kid. It was very lawless. There wasn't a lot going on. And then of course on the 29th of June, there were a pile of fireworks. So people were like lighting them off. First there was one. I was like, holy shit, was that a gunshot? Like I was starting to freak out a little bit. And my wife's like, I think it was a firework. And then later a bunch more went off. And it was like 10:30, and then everybody went to bed. But it was just like, it reminded me of that. It was that very lawless nature of things. So there was little celebrations here and there. And then on like actual July 1st was a Tuesday. So it was a travel day for
no
most
fireworks.
people. There was just nothing happening. Yeah, it was just
there's no fireworks. We went and hung out in the park and went to the mall. And I went to the dollar store and got my toddler some fairy wings with Canadian maple leaves on them. And that was the extent of my patriotism. But yeah, like Dave, like you were saying, I guess I could see how it's hard, like especially like I don't know, like in Canada, we watch what's going on like in Israel and all that stuff. And it's like you guys, like I could see how a lot of you would feel like we feel bad because it's stuff's happening and people are dying, and it feels like they're almost saying you can't talk about it. And like that's finally starting to pass where everybody's like kind of like getting fed up and being like, look, it's not anti-Semitic to say this is bad. We're going to start fucking talking about it. But like I could see how as an American taxpayer, even though you have nothing to do with it, it's kind of like you guys are sending the bombs that are getting dropped there, and then all that shit over in Russia too. So I kind of like feel bad and like empathize with you, because like when Canada throws support behind everything, it's kind of like, here's maybe $1 billion, and like it's kind of
we don't have that much money to give people. Like it's Canada. We didn't.
Yeah, it's like, all for show. They're like, we're supporting you, and it's like, no, we're not really.
We do that thing where we talk about like how Canada and California basically have the same population, like the whole country and like one state have the same population. And it's like, here, we're supporting you. You're nothing. You're like nothing. You guys have to pay more for stuff because there's less of you. That's just how it works.
Yeah, it's funny because if we became the 51st state, we wouldn't even be the biggest state. We'd be like
we'd still be small. Biggest. We'd still be small. Yeah.
Yeah. We'd edge out Texas, but that's it.
Yeah, New York and California still have us. We're can't match that. Can't match that power.
How many people are in New York State?
I don't know. I don't remember the number. I know.
Now I got to look it up, but I'm pretty sure.
All right, guys, you don't know. I just throw it out there. Like I'm just expecting one of you to know.
Obviously, they're almost all in New York City, right? I mean, there's only 3 or 4 other towns that are even modestly sized.
The New York State population is 19.87 million.
Oh, we got them.
Yeah, it's got to be like 10 of that is New York City, right? 10
absolutely. Definitely. Yeah, totally. I think it's like between 8 and 10. It's somewhere around there for sure.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine living in a city that big. Like I was walking around Vancouver today and we have like all these people here for various shows. I was like, damn, there's a lot of people in town this week. And really there aren't that many people. Like it's still spread out. Like I've been to places like when I've been in London, I've been to, and it's like there's just everywhere there's people. There's people like against the building, walking around, out and about, in a window, hanging out. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. In Vancouver, I'm like, there's 10 people near the steam clock. There's so many people here. It's freaking me out. I got to get a pizza and a coffee and calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have another story?
Oh, we have. Oh, I want to talk about.
What do you want to talk about? I'm totally mad.
I want to talk about the thing that made me the most mad.
Uh-oh.
And that's that they're trying to cancel Red Panda wake up calls.
What the hell is that? You got to fill me in.
Okay, I'm going to pull up the story because I can't remember if it's in China or Thailand.
It's Chinese, a Chinese hotel.
Yeah, okay, so what happens is there's this one hotel and they offer a service called wake up service. And it's like they like instead of like the maitre d' or whatever calling you and be like, hey, get up, it's fucking 7:30 in the morning, at like 7:25 they'll open your door and the little red panda will scurry up on your bed and they'll give it like apple slices, or they'll give you apple slices and you get to feed the like little red panda apple slices, and it plays around a bit and it like kind of like cuddles you and you can pet it and stuff. And then they like take it back and it goes away. And that's like the whole service. And I'm like, that sounds amazing. Can I just do that every day? And then, of course, PETA puts their big dumb face and they're like, that's mean. Animals don't like treats or to be pet and hugged and loved.
I was gonna say, if you want that same treatment, just come stay over at night at my house. My cat will wake you up at 6 a.m. and be like, hey man, it's time for food, and just whack you in the face until you get up and then go feed. It's like the less cool version of Red Panda is waking you up.
You can give your cat a red panda mask.
Yeah, there we go. Nice.
Can I feed it apple slices?
No, he's gonna be one of those things where he'll like walk up and be like, apple slices? What the fuck do you think this is? Where's my chicken? Where my chicken is at? What is with the fucking apple slices? Do I look like a cat that eats apple slices?
Yeah.
Oh my god, feed me my regular food, Dad.
And the problem,
I'm not your real dad. That's gonna yell at him.
The people who are upset with this whole thing is, of course, it's nobody who's ever gone there. It's just people who saw it on a video, and it's like, I think half of it is that they're jealous that they can't go to China and get this done because it sounds amazing. And then they just think nobody should be able to do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's funny because I was trying to kind of figure out whether the actual, like you say, the people that go to this hotel and that, like this. I mean, there's a lot of people that seem to like this. Like, I don't know if you guys have DoubleTree, but we have DoubleTree, and their thing is like a chocolate chip cookie, right?
Oh, yeah, dope.
Right.
Yeah.
So instead of the chocolate chip cookie, you get a red panda, right? It's their thing, right?
Brilliant. Yeah.
And
where is it that? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, no, I'm just gonna say. So it's like, yeah, it seemed like the people that go to the hotel like this, right?
Yeah.
I think
they do.
fun. Like you go, it's like a destination thing. It's like you want to have that happen. You want that experience, and like I feel like a bunch of outrage, even over the last few years, has been like people seeing it and being like, that's terrible, and like they've never actually experienced it for themselves, right? And I like, you can't get mad about something if you haven't actually done it yourself.
Yeah,
like,
so they said that people online were saying that there's concerns of disease transmission or injury, and the hotel is like,
have you been to Alberta? It's full of measles right now.
Yeah, they're like, this is pandas from the zoo. Like, you don't get diseases at the zoo, so you wouldn't get it here. But they were like, hey, if you have kids, don't do this. Obviously, never have your kids around animals of any sort. And
well, they're not really wild though. If they're zoo animals, and they're kind of domesticated, so it kind of doesn't. They're like a pet. Right? Yeah, like I know people who have fucking ferrets. Like, what a disgusting animal. They're like, it's so cute, and they're terrible. They stink, and they look like a sausage that's running around, and they're horribly smelly and bad.
Yeah. And there's
it's like one of these. I know, like what you're saying about. It was one of my pet peeves. These people that like think they represent this other constituency when they don't know anything about it and aren't a participant in it. That's one of my pet peeves. But I mean, there's probably a Tiger King sort of story here. But
there we go. Yeah, that's.
I'd like to see this. Like, I'd like to see like that side of the case from, like you say, people that actually, kind of representative of red pandas and China and the culture and the whole thing, right? Not some. Not somebody from
from
Southern California,
who watched the video on YouTube because some like travel bloggers went there. Yeah, like I'm with Dave. Unless you do a sting operation and you do the service and the pandas, like if the pandas come up and they look all scraggly and mistreated, then make them stop. Yeah. But if it's like these pandas are just having the time of their life because they get free apple chunks and they just get to like walk around your room and knock the shit off the shelves, then yeah, that sounds awesome for everybody involved.
Yeah, man, I agree. That's yeah. Like there's other places in the world like this that nobody seems to care about things that happen. Like there's that place, an island in like the I want to say like the Bahamas or something, where they have these pigs that live near the ocean that people take their photos with all the time.
Yeah, I
Peter
saw
hasn't
something
said
like
shit
that.
about that, and people are just like petting pigs and feeding pigs random stuff, and a pig will basically eat anything.
Oh,
But
I
like,
bet people
Right.
have said stuff about that
oh, I don't know, man.
because that
I
was in
think
a reality show, wasn't it?
no, probably. I
In
don't know.
one reality show, I can't remember if it was like Road Rules. It was something like that where it's like they just go do shit that looks like a whole lot of fun, and I get
Yeah,
jealous, and then I go online and complain about it and say they should stop doing it. But
I don't think I've ever seen anything online that's like not an act of violence towards another human being where I was like, they shouldn't do that. Like,
yeah,
I saw a guy on a motorcycle crash into another motorcycle and they both flipped and landed standing straight up. I'm like, that looks awesome. I don't think
yeah,
we should stop motorcycling. I think so because it's terrible. And like, yeah, it's
yeah.
I don't
Like
know.
the Pig Island you're talking about is I want to go there. It seems awesome. It's like
Yeah,
I think what happened was they had some domestic pigs and they either let them go or they escaped and then they kind of just bred in the wild, but now they're like ocean beach pigs. So they
sweet.
like just swim around and it's
That's
like this.
goals right there. I want to be an ocean beach pig.
I
That's
mean, sounds
like a whole
amazing to
thing.
me.
That
And
sounds
it's so
pretty
it's
good, I
like,
have to
yeah.
say.
And like a touristy thing is you go to this beach and you feed them. And then the one I can't remember what show it was because I don't watch much reality TV at all.
Oh,
So it must
sure.
have
Yeah,
just
that's
been like
we believe you.
Road Rules or a clip of something. Oh, I think it was a clip online because one of the contestants got bit. Like
You
not
can tell us it was Joe Rogan.
hard.
You heard it on Joe Rogan podcast. I'm sure of it. You
Joe
can say
Rogan's
it's fine. You haven't
definitely
brought him
it
up
might
once
have been
yet.
Joe Rogan. He might have
There you
talked
go.
about this clip because some chick got bit by it, but she like didn't get bit hard. It was just like went for food and nipped her. But
This,
yeah,
I'm trying to think
everything
of
I
like
know about the world I learned from Joe
from
Rogan.
Joe Rogan. I'm trying to think of like while you're talking about stuff. I know I'm supposed to listen and absorb these things, but I was like thinking about other things like this that are touristy things. Like, what about that whole thing where you could get your feet cleaned by those fish?
Oh
Ugh.
yeah.
You remember that? Like you stick your feet in the water and the fish like clean the dead skin off your feet. Like these little teeny fishes come. Like, isn't that inhumane? Like, don't put your gross trotters into a bucket of water and have fish eat your food. That's your feet.
Well,
That's disgusting.
I think
They
people
will.
don't care about fish, so
Yeah, it's
Ugh,
true. Well,
no.
they will do that naturally too. Like there are
Yeah.
places you just walk in the stream and the little fish are biting you all over the place.
I
Yeah.
hate
Totally.
that. Like
Right.
the little minnows or whatever.
It's so mean to the fish. We gotta shut this down. I'm like, oh god, shut up, Peter. All right,
It's only
I'm gonna
mean
get.
if you got gross feet.
Yeah,
Well,
we did an entire episode on my gross feet, so we're not talking about that. We're not
I
bringing
mean,
this up again.
I could probably be convinced of a story that this is inhumane or whatever. Like, there's evidence, and it's like scientists or actual people that like know that forestry service or something like that. I could maybe buy that story. But if it's like you say, if it's just a couple people kind of deciding to step their foot into this and say it's bad, I'm
Yeah.
not buying it.
Keyboard
Well,
worrying their way through taking other people's joy.
yeah. And anybody who's worried can be rest assured that they are doing an investigation into this whole thing right now. Like the service has been stopped while the governmental bodies
Oh
in
my
charge.
god.
I closed the article, so I can't remember what it was called, but they are investigating it to see how the treatment of these pandas is being done, which I don't know. Everything I learned about China, that sounds like above and beyond what they would usually do, but I think it's because it's like a high end tourism hotel, so they're
Yeah.
probably taking it very seriously.
If I stopped buying $200 pants, I could afford to go to a high-end hotel. Stay there
You're
when
dipping
I
into
don't know
your
what that's
red
like.
panda fund.
Yeah, we just stay in shitty cabins in the middle of the woods with
Yeah.
10-year-olds driving golf carts around.
You just got now you can only go to red land and not get red pandas.
That's it. That's I can get woken up by a meth dog. That's just got to be an inhumane
Yeah.
thing right there.
You can
Well,
afford a murder hot dog.
The sort of idea of sort of these politically correct people that want to make sure everyone's doing the right thing on behalf of other people kind of thing reminds me. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there's this show that Mike Judge did with Zach Woods, the guy from like Silicon Valley and other
Yeah.
things, right? And it's called In the Know, and it's a podcast. It's a fake NPR podcast, and it's stop motion, And you probably wouldn't know it was Zach Woods unless you knew, you know what I mean? Because he's really good at playing. He plays the main host of this NPR style podcast. You guys got to check it out.
Okay, I got to check. That sounds
especially
amazing.
especially since you do a podcast. And
What's it on? Or is it just a podcast?
It was streaming on something. I don't remember where it's streamed now, but you can find it. It's
oh my God, yeah, I've already
somewhere.
found it. I'll send you the link, Dale. It's
streaming.
Oh,
somewhere.
nice.
Oh,
and,
that's awesome.
And there's this character on there that I love because it's so perfect for sort of an NPR kind of universe and everything, right? And she's like, no matter what anyone says, it's always like, no, that's not you don't say it like that anymore. You know, you say this. It's like for everything. She's like cutting it. Oh, that's showing that you're a colonist, you know. And you're
my God.
Everything.
Oh my God.
There's this character that just does that for like everything. It's so great.
I'm getting flashbacks.
And because this guy, you know, is obviously trying to serve the NPR audience, he's like, oh, really? I have to learn how to do that. I better stop saying that now, you know, and all this kind of stuff, right?
I've already been through sensitivity training on this topic. I'm immune to it at this point. Yeah, I do that to my wife all the time. Like, you can't say that. Like, when she'll say something, I'll just make it up. I'll like make something up, and she's like, "What? I can't." I'm like, "No, I'm just kidding. I'm fucking." And it's mean. I shouldn't do that. But yeah,
that's so funny because it's like one of the things we always talk about is since I work in a welding shop, I basically like can say whatever I want to my coworkers, and Geoff can't. and it's so funny. I can't remember. I did one recently that I said it was just like an off the wall bad taste joke, but I can't remember. But this whole story would be a lot funnier if I could remember.
If you remembered it, yeah, but that's not how this podcast works. It's Dale starts a story and forgets it and then reads from Google.
It's Dale's vocab recall is trash because he quit vaping 2 weeks ago.
I mean, my wife sends me these people, you know, all these couples and stuff that do these really crass Instagram jokes all the time. It's like, there's no way I could send that joke. Like, if I said that joke, like, I'm gonna have the you know, Me Too police all over me, right? But she says that stuff to me all the time, and I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to laugh at that.
I can't send this to my friends. Why would you send this to me? I can't forward this on to the other people that I know. That's insane.
I'll tell you really short one, and you can see if your show gets canceled for this one. All right. So how can you tell if your girlfriend's getting too fat?
How?
She starts fitting into your wife's clothes.
Oh shit.
Again, that came from my wife.
Zing.
Yep. That's oh no.
Why'd she send you that? Has she noticed her clothes going missing?
No, it's just like she loves those kind of jokes, right? Like the kind of jokes no one's allowed to tell. Like, she actually loves those kind of jokes, right?
Oh yeah, they're the best.
Oh yeah, that's like
there's no question.
When you're not allowed to say them or whatever, they do get very enticing. It's like the forbidden fruit thing.
Yeah.
And the couple that does it is kind of funny too. Like, they do a little kind of a shtick with it, right? Where the husband is always telling these kind of jokes, and the wife is like, "Oh boy, here it comes." Okay, what? You know?
Nice. Yeah. They've got a pattern that's now no longer offensive if you know what they're doing. You know exactly what's coming. You know the delivery. You understand the context. It's all there. It can't be like somebody overheard it and is now, you just called that guy a what? No, you're going right to HR with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. She can't tell these jokes at work or anything. No.
Oh no, for sure. I feel like my Instagram inbox is like, some of the shit that I get sent. Some of the guys I used to play hockey with send me stuff all the time, and I'm like, I can't read this or laugh at it or make. Come on, you guys. Come on, this is terrible.
I sent my son, this is not a dirty joke, this is just like crazy kind of stuff you see on Instagram. I sent my son played rugby in college, and he was a wrestler as well. And of course he knows I do boxing, right? So I sent my son this thing. I'm assuming it's from Russia, but it's like shirts and skins, you know, playing soccer or football. But with boxing gloves. So they run up and punch each other and kick the ball, and punch each other and kick the ball, and punch each other and kick the ball. It's like, this has to be Russia, right?
It has to be. Yeah, there's no way. That has to be Russia. Yeah, Russia or like Uzbekistan, something. Right. Somewhere oh my God. It's like, not only is it Russia, it's like a culturally appropriate thing there. Like it's like right. This is the test of manhood in this country. This is how we determine who the chief of the village is. Like, oh my God. Boxing, soccer.
Yeah, that's how you challenge the alpha.
Yeah. My son has been sending me like kind of cute ones lately. Like, he's 15, so he's like testing the boundaries of like what he can send me. And the one that he sent me now is like the inappropriately placed stuff from like home sense, or like I don't know what the equivalent of is there, like the picture of the toilet with the
Right.
thing on the back from the kitchen that says life is short, lick the bowl. He's like, we got to get this for our house. I'm like, I'd love to. As soon as we find one, Mama's gonna kill us, but it would be hilarious. It'd be so funny. Yeah. So we get that kind of stuff. That's what we're getting these days. So less dirty jokes and more kind of funny stuff.
Yeah.
It's still toilet humor. It's par for the course and fits the deal here.
Yeah, you need a good fart joke
You
sometimes.
gotta have a good fart joke. But
yeah.
my poor wife, like it's myself and my son and our cat's a boy, and it's just her by herself on her own island. Like, I'm going for brunch with the girls, so I don't have to smell farts and listen to dumb jokes all day. That's fair. That's totally fair.
You're like, our cat is working on them. He
Yeah.
hasn't quite gotten smart ones yet.
Yeah, we're gonna get some red pandas in here, so hurry back. It's gonna be fun. Well, Dale, what do you think? Where are we at? We're at like almost an hour here.
Let's just end on one last one.
What do we got?
The nightmare scenario.
What's that?
The beach umbrella one with the light.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. What happened in this?
So my girlfriend sends me this. She's like, I can't believe this. I'm so scared. And I was like, what? So I read it. So what happened was there was a low stature lifeguard, like a small girl. I don't know. She was woman age, so I'm just making this more awkward the more I try to.
You made it way
Yeah,
awkward.
yeah.
Is this a short woman or a
Yeah,
woman who's
it
not
is
high up in
a
the ranks of
tiny
lifeguards?
girl.
A diminutive
Yes,
lady.
a
lifeguard.
diminutive female. How then
Okay.
we'll go from there. She was a lifeguard and she was climbing up the lifeguard tower and she was going to place the umbrella in the holder. And then a gust of wind came and caught the umbrella, and then she grabbed onto it, and then it like threw her off of the chair. So I guess that's like 8 feet in the air. And then as she fell back, and then the umbrella fell down and like hit her like in the armpit and went through. So it like impaled her. And it's not really outrage or anything. It's just fucking crazy
Yeah.
turn of events. And I guess a life tip is if you're putting an umbrella into a chair and a gust of wind comes, don't grab the umbrella. Just let the wind take it.
Oh my God. She like reverse Mary Poppins.
You know, and one of the stories, I think the one that you said didn't have it, but one of the stories I saw about this story, one of the other ones had a photo of this umbrella.
Oh,
The end
gross.
of it, it looked like a spear. You know, it was like
Yeah.
solid
Oh,
steel and
yeah.
a point. You know, I mean, it was like, yeah, I could see that thing going through you, right? And yeah, and it said it stuck out the other side like a foot or something, like
Oh,
not just a little
God.
bit. And they had to
Yeah.
like make it shorter somehow to get it out or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, yeah. They
That's
had
what I
to
was just
cut
reading that.
it.
They had to cut it into sections. They had to cut the steak into sections in order to remove it properly.
And I'm
Like,
sure that felt great.
Oh, yeah. Because like in first aid, they teach you like if something impales
don't pull
someone,
it out.
you
Yeah.
don't pull it out because they could like nick an artery or whatever. So you
I
like
told that to my
actually
wife a number of times. I can't
have to-
put it in. You can't pull it back out.
you have to like
You gotta leave it in.
tape it and make sure it's secure so that
Yeah.
it doesn't move. So you have all this like method of like bird boxing it where you like tape it and stuff. And so what they do is they like cut the front and they cut the back and then it's through you. And then at the hospital they like remove it with like knives and stuff.
So I've never actually
Wow.
been impaled by anything. I've had stuff like I've had like a skate cut into me pretty deep, and I've had like a piece of car go into my back in an accident, but like not through me. Nothing's ever gone through me yet. This is
Yeah.
I would say yet, but like, yeah, I've never had that happen. But like I know how much pain like just something going into your body hurts.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't even imagine if it went right through. Like maybe it hurts less because it just.
I was
went
just gonna
through
say,
it.
what if it hurts less? Because when it goes in and then back out, it's kind of like it squishes everything.
Yeah.
And then it's like kind of like when you like, I don't know, when you like push in and then maybe the like coming back out hurts a lot. I'm sure
This-
it would still fucking kill to have something through you.
The skate was weird because it was like how do I explain this? It's sharp, right? It's like kind
Mhm.
of like a knife. I didn't even notice it at first until I started bleeding, and then I was like, "What the hell is happening?" And I have this like scar across my chest.
Oh, is
So,
up.
yeah, it's
I
up
want to
here.
digress or I want to sidetrack a bit on skate cuts because we're in Canada, so obviously
Yeah,
we're
hockey
NHL
injuries
fans.
happen a lot.
I don't know how familiar you are with hockey, David, but
Yeah, as an observer, I've never played it. I had some
Yeah.
nephews that played.
oh, okay. I never played either, but I watched the NHL and stuff. In the CBA, for the next CBA coming out 26, 27, I think they all have to wear neck guards.
Oh, do they?
And yeah, it like went in. They're mandatory now because of that guy in Britain who died
Right.
or whatever. And it's like I know when skates are sharp and you see like cuts and stuff, like that goalie who got cut in the neck, and
Yeah.
then Kane a couple of years ago got his wrist cut. But is it like, are they like kitchen knife sharp, or are they just kind of like
So
broken glass sharp?
probably more broken glass sharp. They grind them into what's called a hollow. So it's
Yeah.
not like a knife where it's cut into a V. So a hollow is kind of like U-shaped, I guess. It's
Oh
kind of
yeah.
like that. So you have like almost two. It's almost like a catamaran. Think of a catamaran, like a catamaran boat.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah,
blade
yeah.
is the blade's carved that way, so it's more like this kind of shape, like that.
Okay.
Right. So you have like it's like an upside down U, and it goes so you have two blade parts that glide across the thing. So, but it's not as exaggerated as I showed you. Like it's a hollow. It's a very hollow
Yeah.
grind. So what happens is you get like two straight lines that go across that are really tight together. So it makes like a ripping kind of motion. It's pretty,
Oh,
yeah,
gross.
yeah, it's pretty gross. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I can tell you all about this. I've seen it lots in various places. Yeah,
So like it cuts and then kind of rips
it
out
kind
like
of
a
rips at the
center.
end. Yeah,
Like I guess you would
because
say half a
depending on the
centimeter,
sharpness of the
quarter of
skate.
an inch.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But how bad do you want to interview this lifeguard though? I want to talk to
I
her
would
so bad about this.
I
Oh
would love
yeah.
to hear like what exactly happened. But I bet it went by really fast. Like it's
Well,
one of
that's
those
what I
things
mean.
where
So
like,
like you're on the ground. I mean, how long before you knew you were impaled by an umbrella, right?
yeah, like when is the realization kick in? You're like, oh, I'm just gonna get up. I guess I'm like, oh god, there's an umbrella in my body.
And like,
Right?
did he
Like,
go
Yeah.
into the sand and like pin her down like a bug?
Right. Right. Yeah.
Oh
Exactly. I want all
man.
these details. I want to know all these
was the
details.
wind blowing the shaft and like moving it in your arm while
Oh,
you're
that would be
laying there?
Oh,
I'm just like,
it had to be
yeah.
right. I mean, it
just
have a lot of
wobbling it.
leverage.
There's so many things like just the factors leading up to it. Like, and now are they going to change regulatory safety in New Jersey for lifeguards and be
Yeah.
like they have to be blunt on the end now and they have to like carve them down? Like there's so many things that are going to come out of this, right? Or they'll
Yeah.
have like
And like,
A
standardized
tennis
testing.
ball on the end or
A
something.
tennis ball on the end.
yeah.
That's like a dad solution. That's such a dad solution.
Did
Put a
she
tennis
like
ball on the end of it, it'll be fine.
have a dream that the plane was gonna blow up and then got off, and this is like Final Destination? So like,
No,
it's
don't
such
even.
a Final Destination accident where it's like crazy, like weird events.
I feel like if that happened in Canada, they would make a commercial out of it. It would be like we have these commercials. They're called Canadian heritage moments. They're like things that happen in Canada. Like the one that we talk about that everybody in Canada jokes about all the time is I smell burnt toast. And like basically this is like how they learned how to perform open brain surgery on someone who had a stroke. And they're like, apparently, so now everyone's like, oh, I'm having a stroke. I'm like, do you smell burnt toast? Like it's this big
Yeah.
joke.
So yeah, like in
They would make a thing like it would make a Canada heritage moment about this where the lifeguards in 2025 the lifeguard was walking up the pole and the wind caught it out. It's like these are preventable actions
yeah.
by placing a tennis ball atop your sharp thing.
I feel
Oh
like in
God.
Canada we wouldn't even have sharp ones like that, because Dave was
they'd
saying it
never
looked
get to
like a
production.
spear, because it was
Yeah.
like we would have ones where it was,
It'd be made of plastic for one.
yeah, if it was going
Absolutely
into a
safety
chair,
plastic.
it would have to have a receptacle where it was like not sharp at all.
And there'd be a weight rating on it. Be like, if you're under 100 pounds, you can't use this. You have to find somebody who's
Yeah.
over 100 pounds to put this up because it can impale you.
And like a big thing that says do not use in wind
In
conditions
heavy wind
and all this
condition.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll give you like a specific too. It'll be like any winds over 14 kilometers per hour cannot
Yeah.
be. You're like, oh my God.
And then it would be like comma knots and
I
tell
don't
you
know
how
how to
many
tell.
knots it was.
Yeah, it's about 14. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how fast wind goes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know David has scientists and stuff on his podcast, but like I don't know how wind works. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna get impaled by an umbrella. That's the thing. Yeah. I'm 49. I'm almost 49. I don't know how wind works.
Yeah.
It's terrible. I'm gonna do some research later.
I have a lot more questions about this. I know that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Ask us.
it
Maybe
leaves
we
a lot.
can answer
It
them.
leaves a lot more. No, so far he asked the question like 20 minutes ago, and I've been going off about feet and skate cuts. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's very informative.
But yeah, that had to be so freaky, right?
Yeah, like
Oh, yeah.
how do you? That's the stuff that's kind of scary. It's like you can't. There's no way you can like plan for that. It just the factors all lined up. This is Redlands all over again. It was waiting to happen. It was so windy. It was just gonna happen eventually.
And then the umbrella bought me a hot dog. And
It turns out she was the nude lifeguard in a trailer park.
oh man.
Please
Yeah.
don't give me mouth to mouth. I'm fine. Thank you.
Yeah, that would be so weird to see too. Like just being like, did that just happen? Are they
Right.
filming a movie? Like it would almost be
if
like,
you're like
two,
witnessing it.
two like perfect, not perfect in a good way, but perfect, like coincidental. Like she loses her balance, the thing goes up, she falls, and then it hits her. And like,
Well,
Yeah,
and
could
I'm
you-
impressed Dale knew not to pull it out or anything. Because like
Oh.
every movie you ever watch, what do? They either
They
pull it out
yank
or
it out
push,
like immediately.
or they
Yeah.
push it through
Or they
the
push
rest
it
of the
through.
way.
yeah, they cut one side and push it through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't do that. You're saying don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. They
Okay,
taught
don't
us
do
in
that.
first
They
aid.
definitely
Yeah.
train us in first aid not to pull if something is
Mhm.
impaled.
Don't do
You
that.
don't pull it out. Yeah, you stabilize it and then let the professionals handle it.
Yeah.
Because that's not you.
And then
That's
call
not you.
911.
And then when the professionals get there, can you ask them how wind works for me?
Yeah. While you're here,
Hey, so I had a question about this whole parasol umbrella through the thing. How does wind work?
This is
Go
the
away.
perfect scenario because when the paramedics come, it's always the firemen and an ambulance because firemen
Right.
have a higher trained level. So the firemen will like dress her and whatever and put her in the ambulance. And then you pull the firemen aside and be like, hey, you guys got to know about wind because fire is like has stuff to do with wind, right? And then you just ask, they're like, hey, how much sideways wind can push an umbrella? And then you like get like a ratio for weight and stuff so you can figure out how much wind it would take to like lift me, which would probably
yeah,
be
he's like the MythBusters guy to do a show on
Yeah.
this.
Oh man, that would be good. Yeah.
yeah, what's that? Adam, like you can't even say the or redhead guy because it's white now. Adam Savage, yeah, what's he doing?
Yeah,
What's he
Adam
up
Savage.
to?
I don't know
He
what
could
he's
do
doing
it.
these days. Yeah, he could definitely do it.
Yeah.
I think he has a YouTube channel and still does sort of semi-related funky stuff
Oh,
like that.
nice.
They must have tested like umbrella strengths, like trying to jump off a building with an umbrella or something. They might in their time they must have. 'Cause,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you gotta know there's outtakes to that show. There has to be outtakes where something didn't really go that well, but they tested it, right? Like
And it never aired because they ended up
Yeah.
impaling themselves.
yeah, you don't hear a lot about Jamie
Impaling a
Heineman
staffer.
anymore. I don't know what happened to him. He got stabbed by an umbrella in a weird.
That's how he lost his fedora.
I always loved though that Jamie guy every time, whatever it was about, he goes, "Oh, I one time worked as a, whatever it was. Like, I was a circus elephant trainer for a while. Like,
Right.
what?
Yeah. I have a few of those stories. I feel like I need to live a little bit more life before I have a few more of those stories. That would be pretty cool. I haven't done enough.
I've had some random jobs, but
I've had some random jobs.
And those guys are originally from this area too. Like they were in the Bay Area, and we saw them one time we used to go to the gun range. It's closed now, but they were doing something with something at a gun range, and they were down there.
I feel like they blew a lot of things up at the gun range. Like that's like we're here at the gun range to like blow up this thing.
Yeah, and they did a lot of stuff at that. There's an old naval base, air
it's the
station.
airport, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
oh,
they did a
how
lot of stuff there.
sweet would that be? Just be like, hey, naval base, can we come blow stuff up? And they're like, yeah, sure, bring a camera.
Right.
Bring ablative surfaces so
Oh
that
my
you can
God.
hide behind them when things explode.
If I was rich, I would just be like, okay, let's build something and blow it up and see if it answers a question.
Yeah.
Man, I would love an abandoned airstrip, man. I would do so many car and motorcycle things on there. Oh, so fun.
Yeah, and they
I
did
mean,
a lot of the car
Yeah, they
stuff
totally
on the
did.
airstrip. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh man, that's good.
Yeah, I think that about wraps it up.
Sorry, I have the coughs. I apologize.
That's fine. We're just wrapping it up now. David, where can everybody find you?
All my stuff is over at outrageoverload.net. So it's a .net, not a .com. Although I do have outrageoverlord.com because a lot of people hear the wrong word.
That's
so
wicked.
so I do have that.
Nice.
And
That's a good one.
it's a parody site, so you guys might appreciate
Oh,
that.
sweet.
Yeah. Outrage Overlord is dope.
Yeah.
Has that been used as a podcast name yet? You could
Not
just
that I know of, no.
you could just use it as like a joke side one that you do
Just-
every once in a while.
Yeah, just go to one to put out like once every 6 months, put out an episode.
When you
That's
talk
like
to guys
that's like how we
us.
podcast. What's every 6 months?
When you talk to guys like us who talk about getting murdered for hot dogs by a naked dude.
That's a regular Tuesday around here.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, I'm envious because yeah, these stories you sent me are like, I need better stories on my show, man. Mine are too serious.
We should just share them with you every week as mind share. Yeah, I mean, we could
Yeah.
maybe use some more serious stories on
Oh,
our
yeah.
end. And like,
I
yeah,
don't, I'm always leery to do serious ones because I was like, then people will get upset when I do make jokes
well,
because I won't
yeah,
be
you and
able
I
to
got in a
not make
fight.
jokes.
We did a serious one time, and you and I got in a fight and didn't talk to each other for 2 weeks. Yeah,
Well, we kind of
Yeah.
made a pact like last year that we were gonna like not talk about Trump,
Oh yeah.
yeah, we did the same thing. We did the same. We're like, we're not going to
but
talk
it
about
Yeah.
that. But
hasn't
then you
held.
can't.
Now it's like you
You
can't.
have
Yeah,
to.
Yeah, that's
It's
all
you
anybody's
have to.
talking about online. And it's funny
and
because like
we still try not to, but like you say,
Yeah.
it's hard.
our podcast was around in the first term of Trump. Jeff
Yeah.
wasn't the co-host back then. It was my other friend Derek, and we also had the we're not going to talk about Trump, but here's what Trump did that everybody's mad about.
We're going to talk
Yeah.
around Trump
Yeah.
today. We're going to talk around him.
And
Yeah.
the other reason, I don't want to talk about Trump, obviously, because it's so polarizing. But
Right.
he also just changes his mind so fast. It'd be like you would end up having an argument about something that's not even like
Tomorrow it's not going to
coherent or
matter.
not like
Yeah. Completely different
concurrent
day tomorrow.
anymore.
Completely different day.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys that have to do it seriously like that, like they're gonna
Oh,
break.
Oh.
I'm gonna break down the thing that he did today, and then like tomorrow, like, well, that was a gigantic waste of time.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's,
Yeah, and
I mean,
another thing too, like I like every once in a while I used to like try to do research and like get all boned up on knowledge on something, and then we'd end up not talking about it on the podcast. It's like,
yeah, you don't get to the one thing you really studied hard
Yeah.
for. Like,
and then it's
Yeah.
like I'll be so bitter that I actually studied for it. I'd be like, no, we're talking about
we're
this
talking about
because
it
I
now.
took notes, and then it's just me reading notes.
I don't care that we've been going for 3 hours. We got to talk about this story.
It has to happen.
Yeah, we live in the tangents though, so.
We do live in the tangent
Yeah.
factory.
And it's funny because like I'll always have a list of stuff I like, and then like I like in an email I sent you, I was like, don't do too much research because we might not talk to him. But like there's been episodes where we only ended up talking about one subject,
Yeah.
Right.
and then like went way off the rails.
Well, those
The
are
whole
usually the best
fun.
stuff is the stuff off
Yeah.
the rails.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. And it's funny because like you mentioned, like we do a lot of less serious, but it's been harder to find like
The
topics and
humor in
stuff.
things. Yeah.
Because I used to just like cheat and go to Reddit, and there's this there's two subreddits I go to, like news of the weird and news and stupid news or whatever. But stupid news is just everyone complaining about Trump or people talking about how much they like Trump, and I'm like, well, I don't want to talk about that. That's dumb. And then the news of the weird, that you could still find some good stuff. Like that's where I found the ones we were talking about, like the hot dog murder guy and the red panda thing. And then my girlfriend actually sent me the lifeguard one. So, and P Diddy's everywhere. So.
Peter,
Right.
I got I left Twitter like 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, and I just like that it changed sort of my mindset. I feel better generally
Mhm.
on average. I just feel like more mentally healthy. And then we do this show, and I'm just like, shit. Now I have to study outrage, and I don't want to study outrage. Am I a professor? No,
Yeah.
I'm just a guy. But yeah, but it is like it becomes a little bit like more challenging to come up with the topics that because like everything is kind of batshit crazy, and so
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's a broad sweeping brush, of course, but like the news is so consistently bonkers at times that it's like hard to know what to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and exactly. It can be hard to find that balance between like you kind of don't want to, I don't know, make fun of too serious of things or real
Yeah,
people's
exactly.
problems
Yeah,
and
you got-
stuff. But a lot of it we have to make fun of it. Like how else are we going to get through the day?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're right. It's that balancing line, right? Like, am I going to get fired at work if somebody watched this and I said something stupid today, right? And then
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
week it's not going to matter, and then I've lost my job for nothing. So it's like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, in this world, there is, you're always thinking about that, right? We
Oh,
talked about that
totally.
a little
Yeah.
bit when you guys came on my show, right?
yeah, absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah.
All right, that about wraps it up. Unless there was anything else you wanted to talk about, Dave.
No, I'm good.
All
I mean,
right.
there's a million things we could talk about, but we've been chatting along here way too long, and people are like already got to go get to dinner and everything else, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I gotta finish a series I'm watching. So
Yeah,
there was one episode left, and it was like 45 minutes before the show was gonna start, and it was like 57 minutes. I'm like, I
Right.
can't make it. I can't do it.
You're like,
I'll
yeah,
have
I'm
to
gonna be
watch it
15 minutes
after.
late. Start without me. I gotta finish the show.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Alec, call me like partway through the show so I can leave. It's an emergency. I gotta go.
Television emergency.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That'll wrap it up. Okay. Until
Yeah.
next week.
Wait.
What?
Thanks again, David, for joining us on
Oh, yeah,
Outrage
thanks, Dave.
Factory this week. We really appreciate you coming by and spending some time with us. I hope it wasn't terribly. I did hope it didn't make you less smart in the scheme of things. But we're thankful. We're grateful to have you along on the podcast with us today. So thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I really appreciate being able to do it, and I did enjoy it quite a bit, and thank you guys for participating in the Outrage on the Mic little series that we had. That was really cool.
Right on. Yeah.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Thank you.
You can watch Outrage on the Mic. What days is it, David? When do you usually go?
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays. Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Now we can
Okay.
end it off, Dale. Now
Okay.
we can end it off.
Until next time.
Stay angry.